Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Bailey Art Live. I'm here with Jeremy.
I'm here with Andrea.
And today we're going to find out, is it possible to turn alcohol ink chaos into a mosaic masterpiece?
Well, I think it is.
I mean, I think we got a pretty good
We have
hint.
good proof right here.
But let's find out. So today we've got a number of supplies here. Of course, we've got our good and trusty Bailey Art glue. But we're also using our not as used, we often don't do alcohol ink projects, but our blendable alcohol inks, the colorful collection. Very pretty.
Yes.
And we'll also be using our tall cubies. So another thing that we don't use quite as often. Usually we use the shorter ones.
Wow, we're using up all the supplies today.
Woohoo!
That's excellent.
Yes, and the file that we're using is on the on our website, bailey.art. It's called Lily Pad, and it's just these two layers. So it's this nice full lily pad, and then the line art here. Ta-da! It's very thin. I guess would you outline?
Outline, yeah.
The right word.
To give you the stained glass look.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the black parts of stained glass are called. I'm sure they have a name.
I don't. It's I know you saw it or them, but I don't know the name of it. Like the little metal.
Yeah, the little metal.
Aluminum melty metal.
Aluminum
melty metal.
Yes, of course.
Sure, it's that.
Yes.
Something like that. Okay, but anyhow, we're also putting it in a shadow box. So the other supplies we're using are transfer tape, shadow box. I think ours is 9x9, I believe. Just kidding, I'm lying to you.
8x8, 10x10.
The outside is 9x9.
Outside's 9x9.
The inside's
okay.
probably a little less.
Yeah, it's probably 8x8.
Okay. And then we're also using this little air pusher.
Air puffer. We'll
Air
call it
puffer.
that. Yes.
Or a little paper straw. So either one will work.
Yes. Or just fan it. You'll understand here in a second.
Isopropyl and double-sided tape. Also paper towels. And our mat today looks a bit different.
Yes.
It is a trash bag I taped down. So,
we're trying not to ruin another mat because so far, let's see here. We've ruined a lot. What was the first one? The first one was
the first one was completely inked.
Yeah.
Okay.
First one was
inked
inked.
on it.
Second one was scalded by heat,
melted
by heat.
Yes. And then the first one got melted again.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. So then we only have one good mat left.
Oh,
so I'm trying to protect that with my whole life and put it aside unless we're doing a non-messy live. But today is definitely messy.
Today is a little bit on the messy end.
Yes.
And when it comes to the mats too, we were running out of black mats, I believe. And that's being harder to find. Like the ones that we've been using have been discontinued. So
and I'm sure these tariffs aren't going to help us try and get more mats.
Probably not.
So.
So we're doing this a little bit differently today. A good old black trash bag, which we'll just flip inside out and throw everything in there.
Yeah, real good.
Easy.
Perfect. And of course, before we get started, we want to ask where everyone's crafting from today, as we are crafting from Arlington, Texas.
Yes, we are.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. You'll see us in cowboy hats at one point or another.
At one point or another, like at Pinners, if you guys go to Pinners, which, by the way, I believe tickets are starting to sell. And we will be at Pinners, correct?
Yes, and if you keep looking, there's a code that was announced for $5 off, and I wish I knew what it was off the top of my head. But there is a code for $5 off for Pinners.
And if we find that out, we're going to share it with you on Instagram.
Yes. I forgot what it was, and I think our code's supposed to work at some time, too.
I don't even know what our code is, so good to know. Oh.
Barely was our code last year. Not sure it's working yet. Haven't heard from them yet. But I know there is a $5 code that's out there.
Gotcha.
In the world.
Very nice. Yes. Oh, yes, he also was getting the gloves out before we totally ink our hands, which I have done before.
Yes. We are extra prepared today.
Look at us go. I feel like we're doing pretty good. Okay. Just to show you, like, guys, a little bit of alcohol ink, like what it can do aside from the project we've got here. I've got some other just little pieces that I did to play with. So look at the colors. Aren't they so pretty? I just kind of want to show you guys because I personally have not always been a fan of alcohol ink. I'll admit it. I'm not good with abstract art, but I'm getting better. So this is look how colorful and pretty. Careful, this shot. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, I just want to show you guys that I named these pieces. This one's Bumblebee. And then this one's Aurora. So I'm just going to throw that out there. That I've understand alcohol ink now better. I just wanted to give you that little tip that alcohol ink is a lot. Like this one is abstract and then not abstract. Because we are making it into a specific shape.
Yes.
But we are like inking it itself is just kind of like letting it flow. And that was really hard for me. So I like control. I like getting things
Andrea
precise.
likes precise precision,
I
knowing exactly how it's going to end out. Alcohol inks is very fluid.
It is very fluid, but I've
fluid.
gotten better at it. It's really about having fun. It's really about not having to think so hard, which really is good for May because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes, indeed.
So if you guys are trying to do a new project that you want to test out, I think this is a really good one. Alcohol inks in general. And this one's just a fun one to decorate your home with. It has a nice purpose afterwards.
Right.
So, alrighty.
And it just looks amazing because it's actually just. Wait, did we mention the paper? I don't think we mentioned the paper.
We didn't mention the paper. We used.
It's actually Yupo paper or Yupo paper, whatever it is you pronounce it. It's any type of non-porous paper, like a plasticky kind of paper.
Yeah.
But this one's white.
It's I think it's called synthetic paper. Some people
synthetic
call it.
Paper, yeah.
So
it's on synthetic paper. It looks like stained glass, but it's not. It's actually like 2 layers of paper, and even looking at it too in person, you can't really tell that it's not glass. It looks like a mosaic, like an actual mosaic. Nice.
Yeah, so we're using green cardstock, 65 pound, light gray, 65 pound cardstock, and then a couple sheets of Yupo paper,
synthetic paper.
Yeah. So, alrighty, and we can get started. I'm gonna get my little gloves on and also read what everyone's crafting from.
Gloves are helpful.
Roseanne says hello, Jeremy and Andrea.
Hello, Roseanne.
Melanie says hello from Ohio. Tammy, hello from Michigan.
Hello.
Kathy, PA, which is
Pennsylvania.
Flo from State Farm. No, I'm just kidding. That's not it. Maybe the rod's progressive.
East Tennessee.
From East Tennessee. And then Tammy says Michigan. And everyone's saying hello to each other. So awesome.
Hello, and welcome to another Barely Art Live. I have to finish that out.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to put some stuff aside. All right, we're going to do some kind of steps, and we have some things prepared because it does have to dry. So I'm just going to put some things aside for now so I can get to you guys.
Yep. So in order to make this not a full-length tutorial, we cut it down a little bit because we really want you guys to spend a lot of time in just letting all the colors just flow and do whatever it is, what you want it to do. Right. And just hit pause later. Just hit pause, do your thing, and then come back to it.
All right, the first tip I'm going to give you guys is that, like I said, the file comes with, it's a 2-layer piece. It's this back piece and this outline piece.
Yes.
But for this mosaic, we're going to need the inside pieces of the lily pad and of the flower, and they're different colors. So the thing you're going to need to do is cut the outline 2 extra times. And then you're going to cut that out, take the extra part off. Like, if it's a square sheet, take that part. But leave everything else inside. You can't really see the lines. It looks like a white blob.
Yeah, we'll try the front camera on that one. Oh,
oof, really hard to see.
Still. Okay, well, we promised. We promised. This looks like a white blob, but it really is just this.
Right.
So this is cut out with all the pieces on the inside, like this, on the Cricut mat.
Right. So it's on the Cricut mat. I'm gonna take this.
Maybe that's the issue.
Off.
Yeah. Maybe we could do it that way. Let's try this way.
I don't think you're gonna be able to get it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, let it go.
It looks okay. Anyways,
it's hard to see. The lines are very thin.
They look like this. Looks exactly
but
like this.
It's all filled in.
It's all filled in. Yeah.
So you want to leave it filled in because you're gonna take your transfer paper. You're gonna mirror the outline twice. This is for the synthetic paper. Mirror it, cut it out, leave it all as one, and then you're gonna get your transfer paper or transfer tape, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't have put the gloves on yet. And we're just going to try and take all of it off at once.
Yep.
And it should be possible because I did it several times already, but you never know.
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna get my brayer.
Yeah, and typically, whenever it comes to cricketing, when it comes to paper and cricketing, you don't use a lot of transfer paper for this, but it does come in handy in this case. You can take off all the pieces, but we really don't recommend it.
Yeah, and I'm going to flip it over, flipped my mat over, kind of pushing it down here, and I'm going to try and take the pieces off. Little by little. If 1 or 2 small pieces come up, that's okay because we're going to know where they go because the outline is still there.
Yep.
But we're trying to keep everything together.
Trying to get the whole thing out all in one go so that we can ink it up. And it's okay, little stemma will come off probably too.
Yeah.
But it's alright.
Oh,
Very nice.
Not bad. Okay, like I said, there's a few pieces still on there. We'll have to take those off manually, but that's okay because again, we've got our outline. When we start putting everything together, we're gonna end up kind of puzzle piecing it back together.
Yes.
Alrighty, I'm gonna put this aside.
Down.
So that was step 1, was using the transfer paper, and then step 2 is inking it, which we have them behind us. All right, so I've got one for you.
Thank you.
And then I've got one for me.
Yeah, so this is very much a baking show at this point.
I can't get this off because of the glue.
You get it off?
No. Okay. So this is where I just stored mine. So it should look like this at the end.
So yes, after you have very delicately pulled everything off, you'll have your Yupo paper on your transfer paper, and we're doing 2 of those for one project.
Yes, so you are going to be inking yours green. I'm going to ink mine pink.
Yes.
And then for the little itty bitty pieces, those actually got stuck on the Cricut mat earlier. We're going to leave them on there, and even if we color them, we can use our icy propyl to kind of clean the color off and start over with those. But it's just really hard to get the tiny pieces off separately. Yes. Without having to do a little shenanigans on the back.
You'll understand as we kind of do it. It's all we're really doing is just coloring it at this point. So now we have all this here. We have our gloves on. We have our table protected.
Yes.
And now we're just going to let everything flow nice and easy. Right?
Yes. And we also have a question already. So Tammy asked, so you cut one with cardstock and one with Yupo paper. You cut 1 with cardstock and 2 with Yupo paper. Yep. So 1 you're gonna color, even though they're full shapes here, we're gonna color 1 all green and 1 all pink.
Yeah. You can do 1, but it makes it really hard to separate the greens and the pink. Like really difficult.
It's a lot easier to leave it on there and just cut twice.
Yeah, we just did it twice. It'll make sense here in a second because we're just gonna ink the whole thing all at once.
All right, I'm taking out some of the colors that we're gonna use. So we're using our colorful collection with 12 little bottles inside, but we're going to be using the Soothing Green, Playful Pink, Blending Solution, Polar White, and the Joyful Yellow.
Yes, I'll keep this here for reference.
Alrighty. Okay, so we're about to get a little messy.
Yes.
Speaking of which, we have a giveaway for our alcohol inks. Right now, they're actually 21% off. If you are on our email list, you should get one. You should get the code and the link. But if you're not and you want to try and enter the giveaway, you can share a story about one of the messiest crafts you've done or one of the times your craft room got the messiest. And just use #messy on Instagram, and you'll be entered to win one of our colorful collection inks. So
very nice. So they have to be on Instagram.
Yes, have to be on Instagram.
They have to say #messy.
And then you gotta tell us a story.
And tell us a story of your messiest craft. It could be with your kids. It could be just with you. It could just be with alcohol inks. You know, there's a lot of different things you could do with that.
Yes. All right.
All right. But again, let's win our alcohol ink set. It's the blendable. Yes. Or sorry, the 12-pack, right?
Yes, just the 12-pack. Perfect. Colorful collection. All right, and then the other part aside from inking is that we're going to use a lot of air pushing. So with the air pushing,
air bending,
what is that called? You called it a second ago.
I'll call it something different this time. We'll call it a puffer fish.
A puffer fish,
yes.
Or a straw. So part of alcohol inks is that they dry quickly, and also if you put more on them, not too quickly, so they're still very fluid. So you want to push the air on them. That way it will end up with like these kind of lines. You know how when you put your water down and the water on your cup dries and then it's got a little spot? Kind of like that. So
you'll understand in a second. Honestly, if you've never used it before, all you have to do is just experiment and find out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually do another layer of paper towel. I don't know if you want to do that too.
Sure. That makes sense to do.
Yeah. Just because in our history of this, everything gets inked. I'm glad I'm not wearing white pants.
Oh my gosh, that would be really bad.
It'd be really bad today.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to use my straw, and you can use a little puffer fish.
Cool. Yes, puffer fish. So. We'll call it something different every time. Lens cleaner.
All right. Throwing some pink on there. I'm also just gonna throw some white on there.
And also remember that our alcohol inks are very saturated, so it's very good to use mixtures of things. You can do what Andrew's doing here and blowing on it. I like to kind of like start really dark and see where that goes.
I like getting all of the ink all over the place. Okay. Ooh, this is harder with gloves, I feel.
Harder with gloves?
I feel like my hands are getting stuck with stuff.
I see. So yeah, all you're going to do is you're not going to think about it. You're just going to move it around. I would probably say that at the beginning, it's very like, you're like, oh, how's this actually going to turn anything? All you're doing is you're just going to do a good base. That's all we're doing here. So we're just kind of making our base. Again, as you see, this is why we suggested doing 2, because it's really hard to control alcohol inks, right? So I'm doing all in green, and then we're just going to keep the green bits. And Andrew's going to do all in. Pink. I'll keep those bits. And again, we're just kind of mixing together whites.
I'm using a lot of drops. Like it's gonna get messy.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to get messy. It's so fun. So if you're working on, if you've already done this and you're working just on the, if you're working on the green, you're going to try to get more of the outside. If you're doing the pink, you do more of the inside. So I'm concentrating on making sure I get as much green on these outside as possible. All right.
Maggie says hello from KY, Kentucky.
Yes.
Nice. Didn't the Kentucky Derby just happen, or is it about to happen?
I'm not sure. I'm not a Kentucky Dorian.
I don't even know what those are called.
I don't think they are. Texan's easy.
I'm struggling a little bit. I'm going to use your puffer thingy for a second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Puff away.
There you go. I've been using this, and you're going to go real fast. Help spread this around. This little tool is very helpful. And yeah, I will suggest you do this in a well-ventilated area. You know how many times I've just breathed in the alcohol ink? It's kind of crazy. The fumes.
Yeah, the fumes, but
it just smells like icy propyl.
Yeah,
nothing crazy.
That's basically what it is. Yeah. But I also just like the smell of it, which is not a good thing.
Tammy says, I love how vibrant the colors are.
Yes. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to keep moving it around. You're going to get a little lightheaded if you're blowing on it.
That's why I said I like the little puffy thing. So as it's drying, you want to keep like the really inky parts. You want to keep blowing on them, but like in different angles. Because again, you want them to settle in little kind of... and not ringlets, but where the ink is more heavily concentrated when you blow on it is like this outside part. So you want that there because it kind of gives it that uneven, wavy kind of glass look.
And don't think about it too much. If it doesn't start looking like what you want it to look like, it's okay. Just the great thing about alcohol inks is that it reactivates itself. So as long as you put a little bit more ink on it, it will reactivate. And so as you can see here, I started very dark, but I'm really just trying to cover everything before I do anything fun.
And then can I borrow those paper towels?
Yeah.
Something else I did, which I will just go ahead and demonstrate that for you guys here.
Did you dab it?
Yes. I just kind of squished up my paper towel, gave it a nice little kind of flat spot on it, and then just kind of dabbed at it a couple times and then blew air on it again. Again, we're trying to create that sort of wavy look. Like it's not perfectly even. We don't want it to be perfectly even. A little ink on here.
Very nice.
Kenny says, I like that the ink doesn't dry up quickly, so you have time to move it around. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really awesome for the blendableness of it, I'd say. Right now, I know we're not blending colors, but it is helpful. Okay, so it looks like a big messy blob because you guys can't see the outline.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But actually, I'm going to see if I can take the outline off now. So it might be easier for you guys to view it.
That's a good point. Actually, yeah, that's a really good point. gonna dab up some of the darker spots in this because I like kind of that lighter look.
Because once you have the pieces on here, you don't need the outline to stay. And your pieces, just be careful when you're blowing on your paper because there's little pieces on here, and with so much ink, it's not sticking to the transfer paper as super well, so it might fly off. So be careful. I'm gonna put this aside. Oh, no, I'm gonna get that ink everywhere.
Just be careful.
Right. So maybe now you guys can see that a little bit better over here. There you go. See, you can kind of see the flower now. Closer. There we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Jill says hello from Idaho. Hello.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna fill up that too.
I am also gonna throw in some more white on some pieces.
Yeah, and that's what you do. You just keep going at it and keep getting it so that ever so slightly becomes what you want it to.
Ooh, and you know what? Let me jump on Instagram really quick because we told them about the giveaway, and those are on Instagram, but I don't have Instagram open. So, watch, I'm gonna get my phone all pink.
How'd you pull this off so easily?
I'm magic, Jeremy.
Apparently so.
Let's see. Going live. Now I have my Instagram open. So remember, guys, if you want to join that giveaway for our Colorful Collection alcohol inks, you're going to want to tell us a fun, crafty story about how you got real messy while making something, and then use hashtag messy, and then you'll be automatically entered to win.
I think my Yupo paper didn't quite cut all the way through. That's why.
Oh, no.
That's okay. I got it.
So brave. Good job.
Another good thing about doing 2 layers is that you have all these spare pieces.
That's true, and we might need them.
Okay. There it goes. Pretty simple.
All right. The flower is completely covered in ink on my part. Wow, you really got the green everywhere.
Yeah, I did.
Good job.
It needs to be dark. Dark, dark, dark. I need somewhere to put this.
Ah, yes. Well, I can put it in my very special file, which is in this box next to me.
There we go. So you can kind of see it now a little bit better. There you go. You got all of that lovely dark green going there. I like to keep some of the very saturated bits.
Yeah. And here I've got flower. So as you can see, it's not even. Like the color is not even. That's on purpose. We want that.
You want a lot of little different pieces in there.
I'm just gonna put some here.
I'm just gonna put that over there.
All right, that's lovely.
I didn't bring the trash can closer on today. Whoops, so it's over there right now.
That's okay. I have an old Amazon box over there. Aren't they so useful?
For trash? Yes.
Yeah.
And then if you need to clean anything, just use a little bit of isopropyl or the blending solution will come right off. So don't worry about that. And if you also get some on yourself too, that's fine too.
Yes, then I have plenty of time. So.
And it reactivates, so all clean.
We have a story from In Vanderwind. Messy. It was the first time to ever try embossing, and I didn't put the powder away before putting the heating gun to my project.
No.
And that powder went everywhere. Oh my, what a mess. It was in my hair.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
That's rough.
That I can imagine that would get very messy.
That's very messy.
We have another story from jk.lawless. #messy. My messy occurs often. I often get wet ink, glue, and other things on my hand without realizing and end up depositing it back on my project in the least.
Oh no. Yeah, that's rough.
I've done that before.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
And I'm stuck. All right, cool. So normally we would let this dry, and part of it would be picking off just the pieces we need, or if you want to take off the pieces you don't need. That sounds #satisfying, but
whichever you want to do it.
But first, we're gonna let this dry away from us. Oh, it didn't go through.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna set these aside. Yeah, I did. Set these aside to dry. But we also have our pieces already inked. So
Yes. Pre-inked.
Pre-inked. I don't know where you're gonna put yours because yours got real messy.
I'm gonna put it over here.
Okay. Careful, don't fall. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these inks away. That's a messy project. I will say, I think alcohol ink is the messiest projects I've done. And embossing powder, I have definitely forgotten that some was there, and then just kind of. Oh, I think it was like I was trying to blow some off my. Cause I stamped it, put some embossing powder on, took some off, and I was like, oh, there's still some extra, so I blew on it, but there was still more, so it just kind of to a little cloud of fun.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
All gone. Goodbye.
Yes. Ready?
All right.
Put our inks away.
Yes. The most messy part is completed.
Yes. All right.
I'm gonna take these off because I think when I do the other thing, I'm gonna it'll be too hard.
Yes. Okay. So before we do the little finishing step, we need to glue these two pieces together.
So yes. So first of all, with this, just line it up. Want this or no?
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Yeah. Just make sure to line it up. Good thing is with the lily pad file, which you can find on our website, barely.art, and it's called lily pad.
Very easy, simple.
Very easy. You got a little couple notches where you have a notch here and a little notch here. Yes. That's where you're going to line up.
Make sure that they are lined up, because if you mirror this one, which you're supposed to, because you're transfer taping it, that you don't flip these over by mistake.
Yes.
The biggest notch is here, and then there's some smaller notches.
Yep. So be careful. Very careful. Okay. And of course, with our Barely Art Precision Craft Glue and our Precision Craft Tip, our ultra fine tip, we will use it for all these little lines. I'm not going to do this on top of the lily pad. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Back to precision. Yes. Where I'm comfortable.
Yes. You have all these little lines here. You can do little dots. You can do a lot of things. You should have enough time to put this down. So.
I wouldn't put glue all on each piece, or I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, just on the major
up to
bits.
You.
And really, whenever you start gluing it down too, you'll be able to see pretty quickly where it's going to peel up from. Obviously, around the edges is probably the big one. And then kind of put some dots on other places.
I like to do it kind of where there's more intersections.
Yeah, anywhere where you think it's going to peel up. You don't have to move too terribly quickly because you have some time. But again, we're working on a trash bag, so this makes it a little bit easier. Because we were like, we don't care about this.
I do suggest putting some nice something to cover your craft space. I know some people have like the glass craft mats, which will probably clean up pretty easily, but for anyone else, trash bag will work just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And then JK Lawless says, I love the stained glass look, and I'm finding that alcohol ink may be the perfect way to get that look.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It in and of itself is very like shiny.
That's true, like when it dries.
Right? Yeah, compared to other types of materials and things, there's not a lot that can maintain the shine.
Yeah.
Ignore my crazy mess nonsense I just did. But it's okay, because it's all going to be hidden anyways and covered, and of course it dries clear.
So you do want to try and get this as exact as possible glued down, because if you kind of stretch it, their pieces aren't going to fit. Like your inside pieces might not squeeze in, and you won't really know until you start putting them down.
Indeed.
You're trying to get them as perfectly aligned as possible.
Just try to keep it as flat. Try not to like press on them too much. And it don't matter if you've got all glue everywhere, because again, remember, you're putting in your pieces on top of it, right?
Need a little bit more. Add a little bit more.
Yeah, and then after that, you'll be able to kind of see. Oops, I think I put this on some alcohol. There we go. You'll be able to kind of see like where your little pieces are coming up, like that. So if you've got a little bit of give, just kind of come underneath it there. Put a little bit more glue down, especially on some of these inner pieces like Andrew was saying before. like insides of all the leaves and insides of all the petals.
So all I'm doing is where I see a little lift, I'm just gonna put my glue underneath, just kind of dab it there, and then with my finger, I'm just stick down nicely, and you'll kind of be taking up the leftover glue with your fingers. Not that it matters, because again, those other pieces, the inked pieces, will be covering them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So you're just looking for little shadows. That's all. Work your way around. All be glued down anyways. Just like one big puzzle.
Yeah, pretty much we're making a big ink puzzle.
Ink puzzle. Yeah, exactly. We're making an ink puzzle. Paint by number ink puzzle.
A paint by number ink puzzle.
Mm-hmm. With no numbers and paint. Or paint. But it's a puzzle. Okay. There we go. I think I'm pretty much completed that bit. So yeah. Make sure that all the pieces are down, except I keep finding random spots here that I want to glue down.
Jean Hall 111 says, you could always cut that part on an adhesive sheet, couldn't you?
Yes.
I would say the only reason I wouldn't is because usually like vinyl is very thin, and you kind of need just a slight thickness of paper to settle your piece in.
Yes, that's a good point.
I think that's what she's saying. Yes. Asking. Yes. So yes, you can do vinyl, and you would be able to just kind of bloop bloop it on there. But I like the slight height of it to kind of make sure my puzzle piece gets in its spot the correct way.
You can definitely try like if you have a thicker black vinyl, that might work too. But again, it's still very, very thin.
Yes.
We like this because it actually shows some texture. It's a little hard to tell, but this is textured pieces.
Gray cardstock.
Gray cardstock, yeah.
I picked gray instead of like a darker black because usually stained glass does have like the silveriness. And I didn't pick silver because I didn't want it to stand out too much. I wanted the alcohol ink to shine through.
It's a shine. And it definitely shows based on our actual finished project, which is covered up.
Sorry.
For anyone that's not joining us, this is what we're making.
Yes, if you just got here.
Ta-da!
Ooh,
I'm going to keep this here.
That's a good idea.
Yes. Ooh, very shiny though. I'm going to keep this here, but propped up with something that we're...
You can use this as a double-sided tape.
Yeah.
That was here for us to ink if we need help.
Offer.
There we go. Ooh.
I'm not sure how that other shot looks, but we'll worry about that later. Okay. So there we go. That's what we're making today.
Jean says double-sided adhesive sheet so it sticks to the paper, then sticks to the base is what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was saying.
Okay. So
yeah, that could work.
I understand it.
It just depends on how thin it can cut. As long as it cuts all the way through, then you should be fine for it. You're just gonna have to weed.
Righty. All right, guys. Don't forget to share your messiest craft stories and then use hashtag messy in the comments on Instagram to be entered into our giveaway. We'll be giving away one of our colorful collection alcohol inks.
Yes.
To one lucky winner. U.S. shipping only. All right. You're all done?
Yeah.
Wow. I just keep finding more spots. I just want to.
What I do is just kind of like taco it, burrito it, kind of see.
I see.
Yeah, and then that's how I found them pretty quick.
Wow, so smart.
Just a few, and I spent a little bit more time, I think, at the initial gluing too. So.
Cool. So I got mine. Little swamp. Let's see. I've got some more here. There we go.
Nice.
And we have another story from, I believe, Sharon. And she said, hashtag messy. Her cat sat in the middle of her project. Need I say more?
Yeah, that's a lot of fur.
Yeah, that's
hopefully we're gluing something down or something. Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy.
I used to only have a dog, so I didn't have to worry about that. And then I got a cat, and yeah, they do just sit right where you're working.
Yeah, they want to be with you. All the time.
All right, and here are our dry alcoholic pieces. So
yours.
Oh,
thank you.
And then this one is for you as well.
Thank you.
This one is mine. E. Lewis says, #messy. He paper mached an Easter egg with his 3-year-old granddaughter. Yikes.
Yikes indeed. Yikes is a lot. Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, she's now 12 and they still laugh about it. That's so cute. All right, guys. So now we have our pieces here. This is where we're going to be puzzle piecing things. We're just going to be taking each piece, lifting it from our transfer tape, and then finding its appropriate spot and then gluing it down there.
So at this point, it's all just puzzling. We aren't doing anything like another piece of transfer or anything along that lines, because you'll pull up the ink.
Yes.
It's no good.
That would be super helpful, but yeah. We're just going to kind of push it in there, scoot it down, and then I'll probably be using the brayer every so often to try and make sure it's flat in there, and then just keep moving on.
That's what we're doing here. Puzzle piecing all those pieces down, going from that. And of course, if you had any extra little pieces, you can always grab them, ink them up a little bit now, and add them as you go around. I immediately started in the wrong spot.
No, how did you start in the wrong spot?
I was like, here's a triangle. There's a triangle. But there's a lot of triangles.
Yes, line it up as best as you can.
And I was like, wait a second. This triangle does not look like the right triangle. It does not fit in there completely. I was like, oh no, it's because I didn't put I pushed the pieces around or something like that. But I actually did it. It's just the wrong triangle.
Oops.
Oops-a-daisy.
Mark Pin says #messy. They made handmade paper with 2nd graders. So I don't know if you guys know if you've ever made your own paper. It can get messy because you're taking a bunch of like watery paper pulp in a big bin and then get a screener so it all settles there. Yeah, that can be pretty messy with 2nd graders, I imagine.
Ooh, 2nd graders is rough. Definitely rough.
Let's see, you've got...
It's kind of like paper mache.
Yeah, kind of like paper mache, but more water.
More water.
I feel. Pin Parn says, #messy. One day I was working on a shaker cake topper and my little one came running and spilled all the glitter.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Running. There's running with scissors and then there's running with glitter. Don't run with either.
Don't run with either.
Don't do it, folks.
I definitely have, like we had talked about the embossing powder before. Yeah. I've had the glitter out and then been like, oops. Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the other thing too is
I brought it on the live actually.
Well, with the embossing powder, what's kind of crazy about it too is because a lot, you use a heat gun, but that also blows it.
Yeah.
So you have to like put it at just the right distance to actually use it correctly before it goes crazy. All right, look at that, everyone. Look how good that's coming out. Just look at it in the camera. Like that. That makes it look like it's shiny. It really does look like stained glass. And you guys were doubting us.
Who doubted us?
With our inks. I was doubting me for a second.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it is nice to see it come through. It kind of feels like, I know we're putting pieces down, but it almost feels like we're removing the dullness and bringing out the shine.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of keep working around. I'm putting a lot of these big pieces down first so I can see how it looks.
I'm just going all the way around. And I'm sorry, I can't read this name. It's Xana Dumar. I'm so sorry. XANADUMAR says this craft looks relaxing to me. I think so. I think it's pretty relaxing. Like you get to play with the ink. You don't have to think about it too much.
Yeah.
And then
we're
you
only sticking to one color
piece
too.
It away.
Yeah. Only sticking to one. Well, I mean, there's 3 colors that you're seeing here, but we're only really using one color at a time. Which is why Andrea was mentioning before. It's best to go ahead and just print out 2 on the Yupo paper first, and then that way you can just concentrate on the 2 colors and not worry about it too much. So you kind of past all these little lines and things.
And I feel like you have more bragging rights on this project than if you did like the diamond dots.
Oh,
like the diamond dots are satisfying. This is also satisfying.
Yeah.
But now you're like, oh yeah, no, I made it. It's one of a kind.
Mm-hmm. That's
you.
true. Also, I just realized this. So our original ones are drying now too. Look at that.
Ooh.
Look at that.
So pretty.
So it's a little harder to see, but this one has a little bit more like blues into it. More like it really does feel more like a lily pad. Okay. Put all these pieces down.
How about you, Jerry? What's the messiest craft you've ever made? I'm gonna include home improvement for you because that's pretty much what you do at home.
Well, if it's just that, it's really painting.
Painting?
I mean, like painting walls.
Right.
That's pretty much the big one. Because I use a sprayer, and with a sprayer, it gets everywhere. Like it's in the air. It's hopefully not in your lungs because you're wearing a respirator.
Right.
Ink, paint gets everywhere with that. But in terms of like crafting, I think when I was young, I don't know. I was always very much a clean kid. Like I didn't like it to get dirty. So I was pretty I usually didn't get messy per se.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. Not willingly, anyways.
Yeah.
Probably paper mache is the closest I've gotten when I was younger.
Yet to do.
Because it's just like flour and water, and you're putting it all onto a balloon and all this other stuff.
Very cool.
Yes, but
that sounds like it can be messy. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Tends to be that way. Other than that, let's see. What other messy things?
We have a comment. Someone says, B. Wilson asked, I'm fairly new to Instagram, so will we be able to go back and rewatch this? I missed part of the beginning. Not on Instagram. You can rewatch this live on YouTube. So our YouTube is Fairly Art. And you can go on there and it'll already be, when we finish this live, it'll be uploaded automatically. Mm-hmm. So you'll have pretty quick access there, but we can't save them on Instagram, unfortunately.
Yep.
Because we're doing YouTube and Instagram and I believe Facebook all at once. So the way we push to do all of them, it doesn't save it to Instagram.
Yep, unfortunately.
But it does save it to YouTube. So we always got that. Mm-hmm. So go follow our YouTube. Yeah, we got other projects on there, not just lives.
Mm-hmm. Tons of different things you can do. These did not want to go down. Okay. Just gonna keep on going around and around and around. If you're just now joining us, we are working on a project that is on barely.art called Lily Pad.
Yay!
Indeed. You can get that SVG under is it one of the new release area sections or whatever, new projects?
I think it might be under spring.
Under spring. Okay.
Currently, it's on the second page of our SVGs, but if you watch this way later, it might be
somewhere else. Depending on where and when and where.
Lily Space Pad.
Lily Space Pad. Lily Space Pad. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can see all this coming out together.
You can also always join our email list if you haven't already, because there we will link things directly to the lives or to the project itself or whatever product we'll be using that day.
Yep, indeed.
Just throwing that out there.
Yes. And also we're doing a giveaway today.
We are.
Yes. So if you go to Instagram and hashtag messy and tell us your messy craft, you'll be entered into to get one, surprise, surprise, alcohol ink.
Ooh,
pack.
Yeah.
Of 12.
Pack of 12.
So yes, you'll be able to do exactly what we're doing here.
Righteous Robot is on.
Very nice. Hello,
Hi.
Righteous Robot.
So good to see you again.
Yes.
He asked, I missed the beginning. Can you explain what paper and how you got such a brilliant effect? Absolutely.
Yes. Of course.
So we are using synthetic paper or Yupo paper. It's YUPO. And that is like a plasticky kind of paper. So we just kind of drop the alcohol inks onto the synthetic paper. This is closed, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Drop it.
Just right now.
Drop it onto the synthetic paper, and it'll kind of pool there. So you do want to kind of blow it around. Yeah. You can use a straw to blow it around, but I suggest like a little puffer, like an air puffer.
Yeah, it's currently
a manual one.
It's
this.
Right
and that will help dry it in, I guess, a little. It dries pretty quickly, but over time. Yep. So you want to kind of push the air around in different ways to create that uneven, watery effect.
And it'll always look wet. It doesn't really. I mean, it does dry, but it'll always kind of have that wet look, which is why it looks so brilliant, especially on paper. Because this is just straight paper. Like there's nothing else there. So we have the synthetic paper here, and then we also have just your standard 65-pound cardstock that we're gluing it onto now. It is a very good effect that I have not seen many people do in this regard.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. All right, so doing all these little pieces, and also remember that we have our pinks. Well, I'm not sure if we're going to show the redoing of the stemma or not, but we have 3 different colors that we're doing here. So we have our green that we used. Let's see if I remember: soothing green, joyful yellow, and playful pink.
You're correct. Pink, yes. And so this is what he said when he said stemma. It's like this little yellow pieces that go in the center of the flower.
Yes.
So when you cut out, like we did before, let's see, do I have it on here? When I cut out before, the little white or the little stemma pieces were in there, and then you can either leave them on there when you ink, because it's really hard to take them all out. Or you can just ink over them, and then once you pick out all your flower, petal pieces, you'll be left with the smaller pieces in the center, and you can just clean those with isopropyl and then re-ink them as yellow.
Yes, indeed. All right. Put this down here. And yes, it is a nice, relaxing kind of paint by numbers. But the good thing is, if you use the transfer paper ahead of time, then it's not too hard to figure out where all the pieces go. If you actually did this like a puzzle, I think we'd have some problems.
And then J.K. Wallace says, I just realized the biggest advantage of using Balayite glue rather than adhesive sheets is that it gives you enough time to get the placement right.
Yes.
Which the dry adhesive doesn't do well. So
yes.
Very true. Yeah, I do like that we can kind of wiggle them in place.
Yes, as you can see here, again, not all the pieces line up exactly right. You do have to kind of press it in and move the pieces around a little, or move that outline around a little bit too. Yeah. So if you can move that outline a bit, makes it a little bit easier. And you don't also have to spend, like if I was to redo this, I might have not actually spent as much time trying to glue all of the outline completely down. I might have given a little bit more room, wiggle room on some pieces too. But in general, most of the pieces fit pretty good. So, and if it's slightly over, you can't tell because again, it's just the thickness of paper. Right.
Correct.
So it's not that bad if you make a mistake. Again, this is one of those projects where it looks very complicated, but you really don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah. But speaking of complicated paper, I just did want to give Righteous Robot a shout out because I love his work. And
we actually really do.
I just wanted to say that if you guys haven't followed Righteous Robot before, that he is on Instagram and YouTube, and does these really cool, like, it's like paper puppetry, movie style thing. So if you want to see paper being pushed to the limits, I would follow him.
For sure. Yeah, paper being pushed to the limits is a fantastic way of putting his work. All those pieces down. So I am getting very close to getting these greens done. I'm going to move on to our playful pink and the rest of our lily. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we have a couple of in-person events. They're very rare. But the one that we attend every year, at least for the last 3.
3, I think.
So this is 4? Or is this 3?
No, this is 3 because we've only done 2. Imagine the projects we've done. We can't remember the times we've gone.
Yes, that's true.
But the projects we've done.
Yes, that is true. So this will be our 3rd time too. We didn't even say yet Pinners.
Yeah. So Pinners, Texas. If you guys haven't heard of it before, which you probably have if you're in the area, but they do have different pinners events in different states.
There's like
Utah,
5 or 6
Arizona, California.
Oh, you just know.
Texas, and I think I'm missing
My goodness.
a couple, but I knew those ones for sure.
I think Utah.
I said that.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah. But
yeah.
I know. So, but of course we'll be the one at the one in Texas, me in Fort Worth, and it's really cool. We'll we don't know what product we're gonna be doing yet. If you guys have some suggestions, we'll take them.
I know, or something along this lines too.
Yeah, this one's fun. Enjoyed it.
So
but that one's like an in-person. It's kind of like a big shopping thing, but all craft.
Yeah, if you haven't been to Pinners before, they have a lot of different, I guess, crafty-esque things. They're kind of branching out a little bit. Handmade, yeah.
Crafty or handmade. Some people sell jewelry that's handmade. Other people sell projects themselves. Yeah.
A lot of the, like, if you haven't been to a Pinners, a lot of the things that they have is around make and takes, meaning that you can make it and take it. So, again, ornaments, decorations, wood art, sourdough. Randomly, that was that lady last time. Sourdough person that was there. They also have some guest speakers randomly. They've got, I think probably a majority of it's home decor, I would say, but like DIY home decor. So that's someone doing wreaths. Last time they also had, someone else was doing like big wood signs. Can learn all the little techniques to do all these big things. You can take classes there as well.
Which we did one last year. I don't know if we're doing one this year.
Yeah, we did one last year. Or you can just come to the booth and say hi. And usually we'll have some special deals too because we're not shipping it.
Yeah, and that's in September. So I know we're mentioning it now, but because the ticket sales are starting, I believe. But the event itself is I think the end of September, third weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I forget exactly. It's usually in the 20s.
Yeah.
September 20-ish, somewhere in there. But you can look. If you're not in Texas, that's all right because there's plenty of Pinners all over the place. We just won't be there.
Which really is the unfortunate part.
It is. But you can look them up. I think the biggest ones was Utah and Texas.
I believe so.
Did you say Arizona?
I said Arizona.
Man. Got the whole ones I knew.
I feel like I'm missing like 2 or something.
I feel like there are a couple.
Is there one? There's not one in Ohio, is there?
No, I don't think so. You can look it up. You'll see it. Just search Pinners. Not related to Pinterest, but it sounds like it is, but it isn't.
Don't forget, guys, if you guys are just joining us, you still have a chance to win the giveaway to get your very own alcoholic set, which we are using here today. Just tell us a time that you made a very messy project or got your craft room extra messy, and then use hashtag messy to enter. All right, now I've got all my green pieces in.
Wow, nice.
This is relaxing.
Except when you're trying to beat the other person.
Oh, are we in a race?
When are we not in a race?
This is true. Well, I was kind of just vibing. Not gonna lie. Maybe that's why I won.
Found my extra. I found my extra pieces I need to put in. Oh no, I think I'm missing one tiny piece.
Oh, probably blew away at some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. It's okay. You can't tell. It's green anyway. So if you're going to miss a piece, miss a green piece. Oh wait, no, I found it.
So look at that. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, it turned out so good. And then we've got our pink pieces. I don't know if we'll finish it on the live. Depends on the tolerance of you guys watching us.
If you guys are vibing, we're vibing. Alright, there we go. Ta-da! Yeah, on camera, this thing looks amazing. My gosh. Like all those little specks and shiny bits.
Yeah. So pretty.
Okay, get rid of this. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I got a really teeny tiny piece here. Again, I would suggest waiting for your inks to totally dry. They usually don't take that long, but since we layered so much of it, I suggest 24 hours.
Yeah. I don't even have that teeny tiny piece that you put on.
Oh, well, that's one less piece for you to have to glue, I guess.
Okay. I think I can steal it from your other one.
That's true.
We technically have, 4 4 sets of pieces. So
it's also true.
So we have some extras for ourselves just in case. Wasn't really planned. But just in case. All right. So one piece after the other. Mm-hmm.
I never use gloves when I do alcohol ink, so I'm always ending up really messy. But this is probably like the least messy I've ever been.
I was about to say, like, I don't know where you're getting ink from. Because once it's dried, it's fine. The funny thing is that when you're trying to clean off alcohol inks with isopropyl, you'll end up, well, putting more ink on you because you reactivated the isopropyl.
This is true.
With isopropyl. So you do have to be careful, I'll put it that way. Just make sure that whatever you're wearing, you're not doing what we're doing where our legs are like right next to the table. Because I mean you can't see it on the camera, but our knees are basically on the table at this point. So
yeah,
if we were wearing anything else, I'm pretty sure you would see it. But it's fine.
It's one of those times, one of those projects where you just kind of grab your old sweater.
Yeah, get an old sweater, get an old something.
Yeah, or
an old
apron.
Blanket. Or an apron. We do have aprons somewhere.
I just don't like them to get. Everything gets in the way of me. I feel like I'm only wearing gloves. I don't like the tweezers. I just want me and the craft.
Me and the craft. The craft and I. But here we go.
Oh, but something we haven't mentioned that What's that? Mother's Day weekend.
It is Mother's Day weekend coming up. So what are all your plans for Mother's Day? Mm-hmm. Or what are they planning for you?
Ooh.
Yeah.
And if they don't get you what you want, you can just send them a link to Bailey Art.
Exactly.
Excuse me, I want this glue.
Yes, indeed. And we have gift cards on Bailey Art too.
Oh, that's true. I haven't mentioned those in a while.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. So yes, if you need the perfect day's Mother's Day gift, you can enter our contest that we have going on right now. If you say #messy on Instagram and tell us your messiest craft story, you can enter to win one of our 12 packs of blendable alcohol inks, the classic collection. I forgot the name of it for a good half second.
It's kind of a mouthful.
It is. It is a little bit of a mouthful. We tend to choose very hard things to say. Precision craft glue, clearly craft plastic, blendable alcohol ink, the classic collection, and force collection. Cubies is the closest one, but it's very much mispronounced as cubbies, which honestly makes more sense.
I feel like they both work.
They both work.
And cubbies only doesn't make sense to me because anytime I think of cubbies, I think of like the little
you
spot
think of a locker. Yes, the little tiny ones. Yes,
my little backpack, my little cubby.
Yes, that is true. But cubbies.
But hey, call it what you want. Just buy it on our website.
Bob's pretty short, but that isn't a common name.
This is true. People think if we say Bob, B-O-B.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bobs. I think we just would say ba.
Ba.
If we just don't end on any consonant sound, then we'll be fine. Ba. Ba the bear. He could be Bob. If you want him to be Bob, he could be Bob. But Bob holds your glue.
He does.
Okay. Going down.
This one's got a very thin piece over here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And remind everyone what size you used. Is the lily pad size exactly the size that they need to have it, or do they need to scale it down a little bit?
I don't remember what size I made it as. I played with it a lot, but it should mostly. I think the main part is what shadow box you're gonna use.
That's true. Yes.
So check out the shadow box. Give you a little bit of room all the way around, and then that should be the size you need. So this one I believe is about 6 inches. I want to say it's like 6.2 width. And this is I think it was.
Well, you say so.
I think. Don't quote me.
Well, I know the inside's 8, so that's why I was a little. But it's probably close. It's probably like 6.5 somewhere
there. Something like that. Right, just pull out like a measuring tape and just fact check.
Well, if we had our mat.
Oh yeah, that's true. We usually have our mat here.
So yeah, I mean, when you're measuring out the whole thing, you never know exactly. I mean, the Cricut should be accurate enough to tell you and cut it exactly to that. But we've had some issues when it comes to like trying to combine Cricut or Glowforge together and random things. So I'm like, I'm not really sure how accurate all this stuff is. So from the back, it's 6.69. 6.69. Okay, yeah. So a little bit more than half an inch.
Look how pretty, you guys. It's really coming together.
I still don't understand how you're putting down more pieces than I am.
I don't know. Maybe those tweezers are holding you back.
Is it?
Could be.
Is it?
You get down with the craft.
Yes. Oh, man. All right. Well, we might finish then.
We might, yeah. I thought we was going to take much too long. But
yeah, but there's not that many pieces on this one, too. I guess we should have kind of timed it out, too. Because if we did want to make this for, like, a class or something, or, like, not a class, a make and take or something, because you're coming to Pinners, we want to see how long it lasts. But oftentimes, you know, there's all these classes that are happening, so we don't want to do something that's so long where it's taking up all your time.
Yeah. Also, because it needs to dry, I don't know.
Oh, the drying.
The drying time's another
hard.
part of it that we have to consider.
That's true.
Is anyone going to Pinners? Question mark. Let us know.
Yes.
I know we've met some friends there. Oh, who was it? I was watching someone's live and they said they met us at Pinners.
Oh yeah.
And it was Craft Adventure. They're doing an event right now. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
It's called Craft Adventure, and
very nice.
I can't remember their names all of a sudden. But they have a live, and people have been on there before. Like I know Jennifer Maker was on theirs Craft Adventure last year, maybe it's this year. But yeah, so they were so sweet. But she said that she was so excited to see us. She was like kind of said hi, and then she got too nervous. She was like, "Hi, bye."
Okay.
But yeah, but come up to us in Pinners. We would love to talk to you guys.
Say hello.
A fellow crafter. I know we look like we're really busy up there because we are, but we would love to take the time to talk to you guys.
We will definitely always take the time to talk with you. There's always stuff that's happening, but we usually bring a pretty big crew since it's in our backyard. So
yeah.
So there's someone manning something. You can take the time to say hi.
Yeah.
Glue, 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 glue,
glue, glue, glue,
glue, glue, glue. Oop. And so we're getting very close to the last little yellow bits there. And so you could have used, like for instance, I think probably the best way to doing it maybe is to do when you're doing the green, just green the outside, and then for the little piece in the middle, you can do the yellow. That's probably the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
So it's far enough away from the pink.
That's true. That's a good option.
But you can also remember that the alcohol ink itself is reactivatable.
Yes.
Reactivatable. Because the isopropyl itself is like what makes up the alcohol ink. So when you add more isopropyl to it, it kind of just makes it inky again. So you can use that and remove the pink or the green or whatever it is that you're doing. You can remove the colors and then add some more colors to it. So it's kind of perpetually always ready, I guess.
Yeah.
Always kind of reuse it. I mean, within limitations. I think we have over-inked things before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But as long as you're doing it within, a day or two, it should reactivate itself without any problems. And then I think I'm going to have to steal that little tiny piece.
Which little tiny piece?
The first one you put on, that little circle.
Oh, the little bitty one? Yeah. Let's see if I have it on this.
It might be on the other thing.
It's not on this one. It's already disappeared from here too.
Well, okay. Well, take a few little baby pieces.
It's so small. It got away from us.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh wait, it's probably... Nope, it's not there.
Really? It's not even on the map?
I don't see another piece.
That's funny. It's okay.
But, ooh,
look at that. My
cute.
goodness.
Then we also had the little yellow pieces to put in.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do that one. They're so tiny.
You just got to be patient.
I know. That's maybe my worst crafting quality is I don't like being patient. Yeah. And it's terrible because crafting is about patience.
Stealing. Oh.
Giving.
Didn't work as well as I hoped it would. Giving's better than stealing anyway, so remember that, kids.
Remember that, kids. Good lesson. No, this one's hard.
So I'm going to try to just fill them and then work quick. Probably a bad idea, but okay.
Maybe I'm just gonna, it's all I can just get them in place. I'm gonna squish them down after.
No, I pulled it up. This is where I think tweezers are handy.
Handy dandy.
Handy dandy dandy. Just doing this all together. If you're just now joining us, we're doing our lily pad project. It's free on our website. Is it free?
No, it's not.
It's not free on our website, barely.art.
I think this is $1 though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Easy. Deserves it. On our website, barely.art, what we did is we used alcohol inks on Yupo paper or any type of synthetic paper that you have. White synthetic paper works well for this. And we used 65-pound cardstock for the other bits, and then you ink it, and you go all
the way home.
The way home, yeah, basically. But no, this will be recorded on YouTube, so after this, you'll be able to rewatch and see all our steps. We have some tips and tricks there to make sure that what you're doing doesn't get too, how should I say? Chaotic.
Chaotic.
Because alcohol inks are very, very messy, as you can see. So we recommend gloves, we recommend tweezers. Well, I recommend tweezers.
I recommend putting a trash can or a trash bag down.
Yes. Yes. Put down something.
Okay, that wasn't so bad. I got them down.
Good.
Woohoo! All right, now I'm gonna take that backing on my transfer tape, and then just use my brayer to smush anything down so it makes sure it's all in place. Squeeze it in. Alrighty. Ooh,
Wow.
Ta-da! Wow, that looks good. Did you guys agree? Let me see. I'm gonna hop on YouTube. I haven't been there in a little bit. Make sure we don't have any questions. Roseanne says, I hope you to go again this year to Pinners. And then Righteous Robot also had mentioned on YouTube that he had missed the beginning, but I think we covered that now.
Yes, we did.
Alrighty, very good. I'm glad you guys are having fun. Alright, the last part after you've decorated your beautiful mosaic and filled all the pieces in and enjoyed your nice quiet time as you did so, hopefully, is that you're just going to put cubies. I put the thick ones on the back. Pick a nice background color inside your shadow box. And then you just cube it in. And you'll have your beautiful shadow box, which I think is perfect for summer, honestly.
Yes, definitely so. Oh. Alrighty there. So yes, I've got the shadow box behind me. I'll show you that. Ta-da! There we have it.
Ooh.
So, these are our shadow boxes that we have. Again, you can just get any shadow box. I don't know where we got these. Probably from...
I think it was online at Michael's.
Probably Michael's,
And they're always having sales for shadow boxes, so
yeah.
I would just take a little peep in there.
Yep. So go ahead and grab one of those. And surprise! It's Christmas! Apparently from an old craft of ours. My goodness.
That was an old project.
I forgot about that.
I actually did really good on YouTube, that video.
Yeah, that's
I think it was like a Christmas in July project.
Nice.
And people really liked it. Very cool.
There you go.
Yes. Okay. Which one do you want to put in?
Sure.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So we're just going to stick a little. So I picked this really pretty blue textured paper. I picked kind of like turquoisey for this one, but I think anything will do. Pick your favorite color. We're just going to put a few cubies around.
And we chose the thick ones there to give it a little bit more dimension, especially if we're trying to make this look a little bit more like stained glass. It really does make it look like it's actually thicker, way thicker than it actually is.
Plus, I like that it kind of like it's floating on the water.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
And it's in a shadow box, so you really want to utilize that shadowness of it.
Yes. Yes.
Take off our little cubey confetti. And then we've got some people saying, this is so stunning, I must make this. All right, let's see. I'm going to try and center as best I can.
Look at that. Very nice.
Push it down. I'm trying to find the cubies again.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And then dun 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 dun. Christmas.
Yay!
Christmas.
I like that. I forgot that the back was in the show.
Whoops. Yeah, you're probably planning on me to like take it out in a different way and just like flip it over. All right, and the grand reveal. Boom.
Ooh,
Ta-da!
isn't it pretty?
Look at that.
Yeah, good job, Jeremy.
Thank you. Don't look at that. There's one piece missing. See if you can find it.
A little scavenger hunt within our puzzle.
Yeah, all right.
Alrighty.
Here you go. Ta-da!
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. Well, Andrew's doesn't actually have glass on it too.
Yes, mine's. And they didn't want the glare to be there,
Yeah,
but
there's
it shows the
definitely
little
glare on
front
this,
cameras
yeah.
here. Boom, too close.
There we go. There
I'm
it is.
not really sure where I'm supposed to.
Huh?
How do you? I want to show it close.
Like this.
I can't reach. Hold on, I gotta get out of my chair.
I can't reach.
Ta-da! Oh,
There it
it's
is.
cute.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and it looks like look at that. Look at the blendable. Ooh, pretty gorgeous.
Ooh. Yes, indeed.
All right, and of course, now that our project is over, we're gonna have to pick a winner.
Yes, we do.
So you guys enter to win a little blendable alcohol ink, the classic collection
the
set.
classic collection set.
And we had a few entries, so I need to pick a random number between 1 and 8.
Oh, I just get to pick a random number.
I'm gonna pick a random number.
Any random number?
Yep.
Hmm.
Between 1 and 8.
Good point. 5. How about that?
Okay, 5.
Yes,
and
lucky
so
number
that
5.
means the winner is, and we're gonna wait for Grace to tell us because she's checking who's number 5. T Lewis second. Oh, and she's with him.
Hey, she's right here.
So sorry, I must make this.
Hey,
so
congratulations.
So you're the winner. You can get your very own set. I will DM you with a code, and then you'll be able to make this, and you have to tag us. I will say that's now a what's it called, a requirement to win the giveaway. You have to tag us and show us what project you did. So congratulations. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I hope you guys like this project. I think it turned out really pretty. Yes. And remember that our alcohol inks are currently 21% off. And you can check that. That code came in through your email. So if you haven't checked your email, you want to check that now. And I think we'll also be doing a post on Instagram so that you guys can get that. So don't forget to follow us on all our social medias: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
And that one.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.